Hey guys, Dr. Mike here. Welcome back to the channel. Yesterday I promised a video today at 1 o'clock and here it is. I want to talk a little bit about exercise and what can become the diminishing return of exercise. There seems to be a fallacy out there that a lot of people believe that with exercise, more is better. This is simply not true. It's not true with anaerobic exercise like weightlifting. It's not true with aerobic exercise like running, jogging, rowing, all of those things. I believe you need a piece of both. You need to do weight training to maintain lean muscle. If you do the weight training properly, then not only will you add lean muscle to the body, but you will also get aerobic conditioning. This is something that Arthur Jones talked a lot about. In the 70s, when he was doing a lot of writing, he was showing that if you put somebody through circuit training, like a circuit of say 10 or 12 Nautilus machines, once or twice, say 20 to 30 minutes of hard anaerobic training with very little rest, maybe 2 minutes rest between sets, and you're working a different exercise each time, that will give you superior aerobic conditioning than say jogging or rowing or any of the other aerobic type of exercises. And I think a lot of that was proven. He did a lot of independent studies, and whether you love Arthur Jones or not, the guy changed exercise. So it's important to read what he wrote. Anyway, this is a study that just came out in the European Journal of Epidemiology, okay? I think it was in Denmark. And it's an interesting study, and it just sort of it's an observational study, but it sort of makes the point I'm trying to make. But what this was interesting about this, what caught my eye is it's a twin study. So what they did was they followed twins, all of them born before 1958, okay? Then they followed them, they assessed their health at 1975, 1981, 1990, okay? They looked at their risk of mortality, okay? And they compiled all the data in 2020, and of course they have to go through. Now again, it's an observational study. They try and account for smoking and diet and supplement. They try and make it. It's impossible to take all of the factors in. That's why observational studies can be very difficult to read. You know, how many twins, how many one smoked and one didn't smoke, how many one guy was obese and one. So they try and account for all of that when they look at the research. So okay, so they divided up the groups into 4 categories: sedentary, moderately active, active, and highly active. Okay, and if you look that up, it'll tell you, you can figure out what that is. Sedentary, obviously, you're sitting around all day like this in front of your computer and you're not doing any exercise. Moderately active would be maybe 3 workouts a week of about 30 minutes. They don't define the workout. Could be weight training, could be aerobic activity or some combination, along with an active lifestyle. Active group would be maybe 5 workouts a week, and then highly active are these people that are kind of obsessed with the exercise. You know, this would be your distance runners, your triathletes, your people that are in the gym. You know, they're addicted to the gym. They're in the gym, you know, an hour and a half every single day, 7 days a week, or maybe 5 days a week. So the amount of time they spend training their body is much longer. Okay. What they found was, again, this is a twin study where they're following these twins over 50 years or so. They're looking at actually more than 50 years. They're looking at who had the best lifespan outcome, who lived the longest based on their activity level, okay? And what they found was the moderately active group had a 7% reduction in mortality. The sedentary group and the highly active group had the same outcome, and the active group had a little bit of a benefit. So the two in the middle, moderately active and active, showed an improvement in lifespan, and that's what they were looking at. How long do these people live? Does exercise extend your life? We know exercise will extend your health. There's no doubt about it, but this study was looking more about what are the long-term outcomes? How long will you live if you exercise properly? And that's really the key. Exercise that hurts or harms you is not exercise. It's just stupid and dangerous. And there's a lot of people doing exercises that are not smart and certainly not safe. So over this span of the study, the moderately active group had a 7% reduction in overall mortality. What I found fascinating with the study is that the sedentary group and the highly active people had the same outcome. being more active didn't necessarily improve your lifespan. And I think that's very, very telling. If you exercise too much, there is a point of diminishing returns. If you are one of these people obsessed with exercise, again, you're in the gym every day, you're not taking breaks between workouts, or you're running 3 to 5 miles every day, you're not giving your body a chance to recover, you're in that highly active group, and you may be doing more harm than good, okay? Are there ways to counter that? Oh, before I get into ways to counter it, let's talk about why that is. Why is it that overly active people who are too active, tend to have the same outcome, at least in this study, as sedentary people? And I think the main reason for that is free radical damage. Now, this is just my opinion. Study doesn't look at this. But when you're active, okay, you're breathing a lot more. Okay, oxygen comes in, you have all these processes in the body. So the more you're breathing, the more free radicals you're going to create. That's an oxygen missing an electron. Now that free radical runs around the body, bumping into things, stealing the electron, and this causes cell damage and cell death. This is one of the leading causes of cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, is this free radical damage. And they've known about it forever. It's not like it's some new thing that they don't know that free radical damage is a problem. So the more active you are, the more free radicals you're going to create. Now, understand your body can handle free radical damage. That's part of what a proper diet does. When you're getting enough antioxidants, you're eating right, you're getting enough proteins, fats, you're getting enough vitamins and minerals. All of these things work together to squelch, is the word they kind of use, free radicals. You can donate that electron without destroying a cell, okay? So if you're highly active, and this is something I've pointed out to people for many, many years, is if you look at pro athletes, any pro athlete, whether they're a soccer player, basketball player, I don't care if they're playing cricket, if these guys are pro athletes, that means they are practicing every single day. They say that golfers like Tiger Woods will hit 1,000 balls a day. Pro basketball players will take hundreds, perhaps thousands of shots a day, practicing on the court. That is going to expose you to a hell of a lot of wear and tear. It's a hell of a lot of free radical damage to your body, and just general wear and tear. All these guys have bad backs. Tiger Woods, all kinds of operations before he had the accident. You can point out hundreds of athletes that have had physical problems as a result of kind of beating their body up. And it's not just the physical part of it. You know, internally, if your joints and bones and muscles are beat up, and your cartilage, I promise you, your arteries are also a little beat up. Now again, much more oxygen intake. The body simply can't account and can't squelch all of that excess free radicals. So what ends up happening is, instead of this exercise extending your life, it ends up causing more of a problem. I remember some years ago, David Letterman had to have a quadruple bypass, I believe it was, and he was an avid runner. And I always find it amusing when these avid runners end up needing bypasses. You know, and I'm sure, again, I don't know if he ate a clean diet or not, but certainly if you're eating a poor diet and you exercise a lot, that's really a bad combination, okay? A good friend of mine's wife years ago, this was in the 90s, I was down seeing them in Key West. And we were talking about health and all of the different things. She had a couple of young kids at the time with having problems with ear infections, and we were talking about that. And she said something that I never forgot. And what she said was, oh, you know, Mike, I eat terrible. You know, I'll eat a lot of fast food, but I make up for it by running 5 miles a day. And I gave her one of those kind of crazy looks, and I said, you'd be better off not running at all, because you're putting, 50 cents in the bank every day with your poor diet, and you're taking out $1 with all of that running. The body just can't compensate for it. You're eating poorly. You're eating a lot of fat. You're not getting enough protein. You're eating a lot of processed carbohydrates. Junk food is what we've been calling it for 50 years since I was a kid. Candy bars were junk food, potato chips. What is junk food? Junk food has lots of calories, but no nutrition. Plain and simple. Sugar is the best example of a junk food. It's pure carbohydrate, no vitamins, no minerals, nothing to speak of in terms of nutrition. it'll keep you alive, but you won't be alive and very healthy. You know, if in a crunch in the zombie apocalypse, yeah, you can live on Doritos, it'll keep you alive, but you're not going to be super healthy that way. So that is something you need to think about. If you are not eating a good diet, but you're also exercising a lot, that's not good. I don't know if this study looked at that. Obviously, they try and account for all the variables. Again, as I said, that's why observational studies are kind of tough. So, what can you do? You're an exercise hound. You love to exercise. Nothing I say is going to stop you from exercising. What can you do to prevent all that free radical damage? Well, that's actually pretty easy. Supplementation. You need to get plenty of antioxidants. You know, I personally would recommend a multivitamin, you know, a good quality multivitamin, not one of these ones you get at Publix or one of these food stores, or one a day that's got barely enough of the RDA to that's a whole other conversation on RDAs, but you know, plenty of antioxidants. Take extra vitamin C, couple grams of C a day. Get 400 to 800 IUs of vitamin E a day. Take some coenzyme Q10 if you're my age, if you're getting older. That's a powerful antioxidant. Take fish oils. You know, a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons a day of fish oil is going to go a long way towards helping you. We'll do a whole show on how to counteract this, but antioxidants. If you can go out and find a full spectrum antioxidant, and they're out there where they combine all of these things known, selenium and some of the other minerals that are antioxidants, you need to take that. If you're an exercise hound, if you're one of these people that's going to go out and exercise a ton and nobody's going to stop you, and you're not thinking about your longevity, you know, you've got a marathon in 2 weeks or you're a triathlete, then you need to do something. Not just eat a clean diet, but I would up the antioxidants to try and compensate for the amount of free radicals that you're causing in your body, okay? What do I recommend for exercise? And again, I think moderate activity to active. You had the 4 categories: sedentary, moderately active, active, and highly active. I think the best thing for a person to do, in my opinion, and it's not easy to find out exactly how much exercise you need. You have to sort of look at how you feel, how tired are you? Are you looking forward to that next workout? But I think 30 minutes, 3 to 5 days a week of hard aerobics. I personally think that you're better off doing harder aerobics for a shorter period of time. Not everyone's going to do that. One of my favorite things to do is push these sleds. You know, you've seen them in gyms now. All of them have it. It starts off empty. It's about 60 pounds depending on the sled. You can then add free weights to it, and as you make it heavier, it becomes harder. That is an excellent full body workout that won't beat your joints up, that works upper and lower body. That's going to push your heart rate up to, say, 70-80% of your maximum, and you figure out your maximum, which is 220 minus your age. So 220 minus your age times 0.8 would give you the upper end. 220 minus your age times 0.7, let's say, would give you the lower end. So your heart rate might want to be between, say, 110 and 140, you know, something like that, again, depending on your age. Higher, obviously, if you're younger. And if you're my age, it's a little bit lower. So I try and keep my heart rate right in there. Typically, what they say is with moderate activity, you can kind of carry on a conversation without gulping for air. So we can talk, but we're going to be talking like this, but we can carry on a conversation. So think about that. If you're exercising, if you're not exercising, start exercising. Exercise is the fountain of youth, guys. It absolutely is. Absolutely is. When you combine those elements, clean water, clean food, and moderate activity to act, you know, to a moderate active lifestyle to an active lifestyle without overdoing it, that is going to be the best thing you can do to express your genes fully and your genetics fully in terms of lifespan and in terms of health span. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below. I'll try and answer them for you. Obviously, there's people who can't exercise as much. They have injuries. You can always find something to do. You can do exercises in a chair. There are videos out there for that. There are things you can do in your bed, laying on your back. But do something. Get that heart rate up. And for my money, you know, lifting weights, bodybuilding, if you want to use that term, is by far the best way to get your aerobic and your anaerobic activity. If you're weight training anaerobically, you're going to get your heart pounding. You're going to keep that up for 30 minutes. I still think it's a good idea to do some pure aerobic type training. You don't have to go to town. You don't need 3 miles or 5 miles of running a day. You're much better off doing 15 minutes of wind sprints. much better. Less exposure to oxygen, better for the heart. All right, that's all for today. Again, if you have any questions or comments, just drop them down below, and think about the amount of activity that you're doing. And I hope this was informative, and I'll see you again. All right.